Nice boots.
Thanks. Okay, I love Lady Bird so much. I've also been obsessed with Greta Gerwig for a very long time. I was so excited to see this movie. You are amazing in it, brilliant. I was in love with you before, but I really, really, really love this movie. And yeah, I would love to know how you got involved.
It's a great question.
Thanks. I thought about it myself. That was my question.
A few minutes ago? Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I loved it.
I got involved in Lady Bird about 2 years ago now. So I signed on to it about a year before we actually shot it. And I was the same. I was a huge fan of Greta Gerwig's, and you know, the first time I had seen Frances Ha, I had just moved to London, was living on my own, had my best friend come over and we watched it together, and I just completely fell in love with her. And so when I got the script, I was, even before I read it, I knew it was something that I probably wanted to be involved in. And I read it, and then we Skyped, and we were just I don't know, when you meet those people who you just know you should definitely work with.
Yes.
And we were really sort of giddy straight away, and we were sort of I have so much that I want to say to you, and I have so much I want to say to you. And so it was this instant thing, and then we met at TIFF a few months after that, and we read through the whole script. We spent 2.5 hours just reading through the whole script next to each other. And she read all the other roles, and I read Lady Bird. And it was one of those things, I don't know if you have it, but when you're essentially auditioning for something and you're you're trying to read the other person's face, and I was sort of is she into it? Does she like it? I didn't know. So I really didn't know how it had all gone. And then a few days later, they got in touch and they said that they wanted me to do it.
Cool.
So it was great because we had so much time to actually get to know each other at that stage, and
which helps because sometimes when you're reading, it can be like you said, you do feel every word, it's still sort of an audition.
Yeah. And when it's one scene as well, you're sort of well, this is it. If I don't get this right, I've screwed it up.
You look amazing. What the hell is in the duffel bag?
Don't worry about it, jeez.
My grandmother will love that dress.
Okay. I've watched Downsizing, which I love. Alexander always comes up with these incredible ideas and stuff. How did you get involved in that, and how did you get involved in Mother?
I met with Alexander a long time ago, I want to say a year plus before he even started shooting, and I wasn't even quite sure what the project was, but I was already yes, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm just such a huge fan. I think he's, one of the best filmmakers of our time, and I love all of his films. And that was the same sort of thing. I met him and we had tea, and then you leave and you're why did I say that? Because I was kind of nervous to meet him, and I wasn't really sure what the project was, and it felt just sort of a general meeting. And then I hadn't heard anything for a long time, and I guess a few months before we started shooting, I met with him again, and
you knew what the project was at that stage?
I read this. Yeah, I read
you
this.
Still didn't know?
No. I had read the script at that point, and when I read it, I was it's it's so rare to read something like that, and seeing the movie, you can imagine the script, and I was just I've never read anything like this in my life, and how are they going to do it? And I knew Matt was doing it, so I already pictured him, and he's so great. And yeah, I really didn't have to I didn't do a lot of thinking about if I was going to do it or not.
When he writes, because his worlds, even with things like Sideways and things like that as well, they sort of feel separate almost, this other thing. It's very real, but in other ways, I don't know, it's got this unusual kind of quality to it. Does it feel like that when he's writing as well? Is he really descriptive when he writes?
Yeah, and there's definitely a rhythm to his writing,
right?
And it's you kind of don't mess with it. You respect the commas and the periods and the buzz and the ands, because that they're there for a reason, and it always feels better when you say it the way that he's written it. And this one's so different from him because it's sort of sci-fi future, not just a story about something that happens in a small town or something. And
but you could also kind of see it happen. When I was watching it, I sort of thought, this could happen. I mean, it kind of makes sense, for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Until it takes that turn. And even with her decision not to go, I think it's really important that you've got that. Oh wait, is that a spoiler? Maybe. I don't know, just her thought process, I guess, and the way she's sort of reasoning with
you kind of
whether it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You can totally understand how somebody would have that questioning,
Yeah, because when I read it, I was like, she's doing such a horrible thing, and I knew the audience was gonna just hate my character, and it was important to me to find some likability, you wanted to know why Matt's character was married to her, and there had to be a sadness when it was over, but also you wanted him to move on and find something else, so it was kind of tricky it was a little bit of a dance to try to portray that relationship.
You will undergo the permanent and irreversible medical procedure commonly known as downsizing, and that following the procedure, your bodies will be approximately 0.0364% of their current mass and volume.
Yeah.
Do you find that you're drawn towards characters that are, say, a little bit more unlikable on the page or flawed or something like that, because then it gives you a bit of work to do?
I definitely think flawed characters are more interesting to me, and just
more real.
And how you play them and how people play off you, and just in any situation. You just kind of know when you're reading a script. You just for me, I know so soon, like page 3, I'm like, I can kind of just tell I'm already.
You can tell as well. I don't know if you do this, but I started actually say the lines out loud.
Yeah.
And I start to actually imagine that I'm that person, like as soon as I'm reading it. And I think, because it is one of those things that like you can overcomplicate it and you can say, well, it's good for my career, or it's good for this or that. But it is just sort of like this good instinct that you have.
Yeah.
It's a connection you have to something. You know?
And it goes the other way too. There could be like an amazing opportunity or something that so you have to do this thing, and you're like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it.
I found that with Lady Bird. I knew I was connected to her, but I hadn't figured her out yet. So like,
it's hard to figure out.
It's hard. She's hard to figure out, and actually through the whole shoot, I sort of spent a lot of my time going, who is this girl? Like from one scene to the next, she's a showman, and then she's,
like insecure,
riddled with self-doubt and insecure and all that, and then the next minute she's really confident and feels like she can do anything and go up to the guy in the supermarket that she likes and just go, hey, I'm Lady Bird, know. And I really admire her for that, but it was, because she's so different from moment to moment, you're kind of like shifting your idea of who this person is. And I realized afterwards, I just finished the job, and I really wanted it to be great for Greta, just because she's put so much of her heart and soul into it. Like you can tell. Yeah. And I would say to my mama, months and months afterwards, God, I don't know if I did her justice, and I don't know if it was good enough, and I hope I don't ruin it, because everything, it was like Alexander Payne's script for you, I'm sure, you read it and the pace of it was there, and the story was strong, and every character was so sort of well-rounded, and I didn't want to let that down in any way. And she said to me, I think the fact that you've got this uncertainty about it is probably the best thing when you're playing a 17-year-old girl who's about to leave home for the first time. And it's funny how it can come from another place, your connection to it. It's not intellectual at all, it's not thought out or anything.
I want to go where culture is, like
How
New
in the
York,
world did I raise such a
or at least
snob?
Connecticut or New Hampshire, where writers live in the woods.
Get into those schools anyway.
How did you get involved in Mother?
It's not that exciting of a story. I think they told me that he wanted me to do this part, and Darren is just he's such an amazing storyteller, artist, visual genius. That was another one. When I read the script, I was like, what? It was so unlike anything I have ever read, and I'm sure you get sent things, and a lot of them can be very similar, especially female roles. And, it was just this sort of quick part where, I came in and out, but the script was so interesting. I had always wanted to work with Darren Aronofsky and Jen Lawrence, and it was just kind of an amazing time. I felt really lucky to be in it.
I wish you would have told me about this too.
Have you met Mike?
There she is.
Oh, the inspiration. All right, I have to be honest, I was a little worried about him being holed up here with you. I was nervous you'd never write again.
Of course not.
Have you found it tricky, I suppose, or
yes.
It's a bit of a yes, it's the most difficult thing that's ever happened. No, do you think it's a bit of a hunt still to find like just great roles in general. And I mean, yes, obviously for women, but I think even just all around, I think like, I know I went through a stage, well, we still do, but like when I was about 18, it was such a weird, it was like an in-between age. And I remember only being kind of handed scripts that either had the coming of age girl or the older sister or the girlfriend or something like that. And it really, when you find something great like those projects and like I did with Lady Bird, it's sort of, it's so precious to you, but it does seem like it's hard to come by.
It is, especially with comedy. Like, comedy scripts, I find, especially for women, you know, and it's funny too, like when you do something and then you become known for one thing, that's all you just keep getting. I'm like, but wait, I already did that.
Right.
Like I remember after I did Knocked Up, which was like one of the first things I had done, I kept getting these scripts to play like these like bitchy business women, and I'm like, wait, I want to do something else. I just did that in that movie. So
do you write then? Do you think you'd like, is that something you, I mean, obviously you write, but I mean, is that something that you've thought more about? Like, if the parts aren't coming to me, I'm just going to write my own.
I do feel like with comedy, it's very helpful to write in your own voice. And also the parts. I mean, female parts are, you know, they're hard to come by. And like a lot of times in comedies, you're like the wife that's like, where are you going? Get back here. That's not that
you're
funny.
Late.
No, exactly. So, I mean, I do hope that changes now that they're hopefully, you know, allowing more women to come into the fold as far as writers and things like that. But we still have a long ways to go.
But you know, like, you have helped that so much. Like, I think over the last few years, you, Tina Fey, Amy Pot, like, I always say, having grown up doing drama, it's the women in comedy that I feel like have done such great work, especially like you, in the last few years. And honestly, I think that that's sort of like, you know, crossed over into dramatic film. And I think because you guys have done so well, and like Lena Dunham, people like that, you're making your own stuff, you've got your own shows or movies, and the success is down to you guys. And I think that's made people notice, and it's made people kind of go, okay, maybe I can do that too, and maybe we can do that in movie too. Because I've definitely seen, since I started, that there's been a shift in like the type of roles that you get offered as like a dramatic actor. And I do think it's because of women in comedy.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
225,000 chance that the procedure could result in injury, permanent disability, or death.
Yes.
Yes. So, Kristen, quick question for you. I was just wondering, also, I'm sure you know it by now because everyone who knows both of us has probably told you, Bridesmaids is my favourite film in the whole wide world, and I quote it daily, literally daily. And I remember watching that, and I had never seen anything like it, and it's still the film that, I mean, it's like one of the only films I've actually bought on iTunes because I want to watch it all the time. Yeah,
so
and but it's the best, and it's the best because you're also feckin' funny in it, but also it's about friendship, and Chris O'Dowd is lovely and charming in it, but like it's very much about you and your best mate and all these other girls, and like how, you know, the dynamic of that and stuff. And then to work with some of them again on Ghostbusters, like how is that to work with so many chicks on a set?
I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, that's why when Annie and I wrote the movie, even from the conception of it, we were like, we know so many funny women, and why can't, and it's funny how like, it was a little bit of we had sort of like to explain that having a movie about female friendship is enough. And I know guys have their friends and they mean a lot to them. But there's something about female friendships and like that family we create, and those are the people we turn to, and there's just like, that's your crew. Yeah. And things happen with different friendships, and we grow because of them, and we, you know.
If you're growing, you're changing.
Yeah. Exactly. Sorry. And you know, we just like learn about ourselves, and we learn about like boundaries, and like I just feel like my friends have taught me everything.
Yeah.
And I think like having a movie just about those dynamics is interesting to a lot of women.
It's interesting to watch. It's great to watch.
And I'm not saying that our movie is interesting. I wasn't saying it like that.
But it is. But it's that whole idea.
yeah.
Like you know, it was even great for us to get to do that in Lady Bird as well. Like, yes, there's two lovely boys
friendship?
in it.
Oh my God.
But the friendship is the thing, and her relationship with her mother.
Yeah.
You know, and like to see, Greta Gerwig always says that, like, you know, to see myself and Beanie Feldstein, who plays Julie.
She's amazing.
She's amazing and she's hilarious, and we're just like in the back of the church eating wafers and we're making each other laugh.
I know. I mean, I was in from the beginning. I mean, again, I just love the movie so much. But when you guys are like have your feet up on the lockers and you guys are laughing, I was like, okay.
They're not consecrated.
Oh my God, it's so good. Just
It's
to
so
see
good.
that dynamic of two young girls just laughing and having like a casual, non-written-y conversation.
Well, that's it as well, you know, and knowing that like that can be entertaining. You know, that is actually really interesting to
because
watch.
we see guys do it all the time.
Yeah, and it's also great to watch. You know, it's just great to see two people like get a kick out of each other. Or, I mean, I wish there was more of this, but like parents and their children, especially around that age, and like how complicated that whole dynamic can be. And
Your relationship with your mom is so.
Laurie,
She's so amazing.
isn't she amazing?
Yeah, she's
Laurie
great.
Metcalf. Laurie Metcalf. For the
Laurie
record.
Metcalf. I know that you started in this business at a very young age. Have you, I mean, obviously your perspective and your perception of what this business is has changed a lot. How do you feel like you keep yourself sane in this crazy business?
World. What it boils down to is my mom is the best. My mom's the best, and she's always been with me up until I was 18. She came away with me and she was my chaperone. And it's funny, you know, going to all these parties now at the minute and the events and things like that, and it feels like it's all sort of happening for the first time, because I really wasn't a part of all that when I was a kid. I do think there's also just more pressure put on kids now. I don't know if it's just me, but like I do think there's more pressure put on like kids who are actors or in the public eye to like be on social media and promote themselves, and none of that was around even when I was a kid. But I think I was fiercely protected by my mum and my dad. I think it's also helped not being in LA, you know. I think you can come here if like you know yourself, you've got your friends, you've got your group of people, but I think it's very important for me to just like personally to sort of physically have separation from this world. So it means that like when I'm not doing this, I'm very much somewhere else, like in every way. And it just means that you grow up having the right sort of priorities, like great friends, great female friendships, like, you know, my best friends and my mum and the people, and also the people that I work with, that's what's important to me. So I think it makes it easier then when you're doing press and you're doing, you know, weird stuff like this. It kind of helps you to go, oh, okay, I know what the real world is, and because I'm a part of it. Yeah. And I think that, I don't know if you've found that as well, if it's been important for you to like
similar.
Take time for yourself.
Go
like,
away.
Go away,
And really truly unplug and take breaks. And I didn't do that for such a long time, you know, being on SNL, you know, for most of the year. And then I would shoot in the summer. And then on those few weeks off, then I would be doing press for the things that had come out. And I didn't, because that's like when and where I started. So I didn't know that was not normal. And I remember actually talking to Bean's brother, to Jonah Hill, and I was saying that I was, you know, finally going to take a break, and he was like, "Oh, how long are you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't think like for 2 weeks. I'm just like, I'm not doing anything." And he was like,
such a long time.
He's like, "No, you have to take like 2 months off. You have to like go away." And I had not taken, I don't think I had taken a week off in, I mean, like I want to say like 10 years or something.
What?
It was crazy.
'Cause I was thinking about the SNL cast the other day, and I was like, you're writing during the week.
Yeah.
You're doing the sketches on Saturday. Then, like, you go back in on
Monday.
the Monday, right?
Yeah.
I remember reading Amy's book, Amy Poehler's
Yeah.
book about SNL, and she's like, people would just get us McDonald's and we'd just like eat crap and keep writing and work into the early hours like that. That must have been, was it weird then when you finally stopped? I'm sure it must have been so
God,
sad.
it was so
but was it
weird.
weird to kind of go like, oh, this is the real world?
It was like someone took like an IV out of my arm, and I was like, what? I just felt like I was breathing different air, and I because you're in this world and you're with the same people.
Right,
and,
you're in your bubble.
30 Rock, you're just like, you just live in the building, and even on the weeks off, you're still like hanging out with each other in New York. And then, when it was over, I definitely went through a period where I was like, who am I? Lost in the streets with my bag.
Do you think then that's actually made you more likely to take breaks because you know the effect it can have on you to just keep going?
And also when you don't refuel, you end up like doing things like this and then crying in the bathroom.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Who am I?
Who am I?
Who am I?
Exactly. Yeah. You have to, and you're not going to do a good job, and you're not going to feel centered, and
you can't do your best work.
You can't. So I did learn that lesson the hard way, but now I know how to take breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's great to have this perspective on what we do in the industry and then real life and all that sort of stuff. But even still, it's unpredictable. It messes with your head. You don't know how long you're going to be working for, all that sort of, like, it's a very unstable sort of environment. And when it's good, it's good. But like, have you found, you know, in the times when it's not so good, how have you dealt with the disappointment, I suppose, and like the unpredictability of the nature of this business?
I kind of like the unpredictability-ness of it. I mean, again, like, you know, with SNL, and I was there for like 7 years, I didn't really worry about what I was going to be doing because I had a job.
Right.
And afterwards, I had like, you know, a few things, you know, lined up and stuff. And I don't know, I haven't really worried about like the next thing coming. And that's not, that doesn't come from like, oh, I just know something will. I don't know, I just have always had that outlook that like things will come, and because all of the things that I feel like have been the best things in my life have come out of the blue. So I kind of feel like, why plan and expect things? I know something will happen, whether it's a break or something,
and it's
fun.
It's right for that time.
Yeah, and also like I try not to be too involved with like internet, social media stuff. I'm not on social media, but and even like when films come out, like I don't read anything. It's just not. I don't.
You don't need to.
You don't
really.
need to, because I feel like the experience of the film is what you're going to remember anyway.
Exactly.
And if you go down that rabbit hole, you'll look back on things you've done and you'll remember the bad reviews. You won't even remember like the 3 months of fun that you had shooting it.
And it's also, it becomes very superficial then. Like whenever I'm working, I don't look at the monitor. I don't look at a cut. You know, I really don't like looking at films that I'm in. Even Lady Bird was the first time I actually was like, yeah, it's good. I could see, you know, I had to say it because it's that great. But like, I've just found, and it's funny because people can make you feel guilty about it as well for not wanting to like enjoy watching yourself on a massive screen. It's like, really, but that's not normal. And I just feel like if that's a part of why you're doing it, the image or the way it looks, or even, to be honest, how other people sort of perceive it or react to it, for me, I just think I'd be doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, and you become so self-aware.
Yeah.
You know, like I have said this before, like when I was on SNL, I never watched the show. Like I never watched the show from the moment I started until the moment I stopped, because I didn't want to be aware of what I looked like. And like, if I looked in a mirror before I started talking to you, I would know what you were looking at, and I think I would be more aware of what.
This is my face.
Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
No.
And now I have no idea, and
Yeah.
and I won't watch this.
You look great.
No.
You look fantastic. If that's what you want me to say.
That is, thank you. All right,
Yeah,
now
I mean, I don't know
can
what
finish
I
now.
look like right now, Saoirse. What do you think? How do you
don't know, I
feel?
just can't tell.
How do you feel?
But do you like me?
I want you to be the very best version of yourself that you can be.
What if this is the best version?
I truly loved you on SNL, obviously.
Thank you.
And there's so many characters that are beloved by the nation. But my question is, which one was your favourite to do on Saturday Night Live?
It's so hard to pick because, I mean, I have a special place in my heart for the Target lady simply because I did her at Groundlings before I got SNL, and like I did her in my
okay.
audition, and like I remember being so nervous, like having the sketch at the table read and thinking to myself, if this doesn't go well, then like how am I gonna do on the show? Because this is like what I did before,
Right.
and so that one I think always I will love her. And I really liked doing Sue, the surprise party lady, because it was such a high energy character for me to play, and I don't normally do that.
Jumping
kind of stuff.
through walls.
Exactly. So I kind of liked doing her. You've played so many different kinds of roles. They haven't been. They've all been very diverse. Do you have something that you wish? Do you have a character in your mind that you kind of want to play, or do you have something coming up that you're excited about?
Good question. I just played Mary Queen of Scots, which was amazing. And it was one of those things where I took time off beforehand. I knew this was the project I was going to do next, so I took like 6 months off.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I travelled, I went up to Scotland and did my research, started to horse ride, learned some French.
God, that's a dream.
Like, it was an absolute dream, and so it meant that like when I went into this environment and was playing someone who was real, who was in power, there was such a sort of expectation. There was such an expectation for her as a person when she became queen anyway, but it was something I had signed up to when I was 18. So
Really?
I was on it for 5 years, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then it finally happened this year. So it was a big one for me, and I know now that like I need to take the time off so that I can, like, when I go back to work, I can put all my energy into that one person, because I've had time away from this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think one thing that I've always wanted to try, well, there's a few things actually. I've always really liked the idea of playing a man, of playing like a boy or a man since I was a kid. I think as well, like I never really played girly roles when I was younger. They were always quite tomboyish or very sort of intellectual and things like that. And that's something, just because of the physicality of a guy and their voice and how they hold themselves, things like that, I think it would be a really interesting thing to do. And I'd also like to do a silent film where I just don't talk, because I just prefer to not talk in films. I don't love lines.
Yeah.
Some lines are fine, but I find, I don't know if it's the same when you do stuff, but do you just like cut all the time?
You mean like cut things out of the...
Like cut your lines, or like make them...
Like, maybe I don't have to say this.
Yeah, and like maybe I should just stand in the background, do you think? Is that good for you? But yeah, I've always found that like I've been more drawn towards, I don't know, I guess like using my face.